the bottom and the crust. Now we are going to be filling our pies. So you can take a spoon, fill all the pies, about the same amount of each pie. A little bit, fill them up. Looking good so far. Some of the apples might be bigger than others. You can cut them down, or you could, you could cut them down and make them smaller. And some other ones in the pan. It's always okay. Hi, my name is Zach, and welcome back to my Zach Snacks YouTube channel. And today you are in for another good one. Today, as you see in the title down below, we're going to be making mini apple pies. So you like them self-portion pies that you can have to yourself. But today, I'm going to show you how to do that. You can also use this ingredient to also make a big pie. But today we're going to be making miniature pies with a pie dish. So first, we're going to start by preheating our oven to 425 degrees. And that's going to take about 15 minutes to preheat. So as that's preheating, we're going to go to the next step. Next, using a food processor or blender, we're going to be putting 2 cups of all-purpose flour. So we're going to take this off. We're going to get our flour. We're going to put 2 cups of all-purpose flour into the blender. It is also good to have a knife or leveler on hand so you can measure out. After putting the 2 cups of flour in the blender, we're now going to put 1 teaspoon of salt. Now near our salt, we're going to put 1 teaspoon of salt with the flour. After that, we're going to add 2/3 cup of butter. The top back on the blender, and we're going to let this blend until it looks like peas and it's a little bit sticky inside. So now we're going to turn our blender on low, 3% speed, and let it blend on low until this flour becomes sticky inside and looks like little peas. It's okay to knock down the sides with a spoon to make sure everything's in the bottom of the blender so the blender or the food processor can continue blending evenly. Now we're going to add water until it starts looking sticky in the inside. So I'm going to add a little bit of water and I'm going to start blending it again until it starts looking sticky. So that's about half a cup of water in there right now. Let me start blending this now. As you can see, the dough is a little bit watery right now, but after we turn the blender back on for a little bit longer, it should start to get doughy, and it should be like a doughy, sticky type. So in just a little bit, we will turn the blender back on, and then we'll see what will come out to after this. As you can see, it's getting a little sticky in the inside, so just keep blending it until it's really sticky, and then we should be able to take it out in just a little bit. So we're going to turn this blender on a little bit longer and let it continue to blend for a couple more minutes until it's sticky inside. Then after that, we'll be flouring our surface, and we'll be bringing the dough onto the surface and moving it around and cutting it into 12 equal pieces. But first, we're going to continue to let this blend on low for about a couple more minutes until it's sticky in the inside. But if need be, you can always add more flour or more water if it's not to the right texture at the right time. So as you can see mine, I might need a little bit more flour to add a little bit more texture to the dough. But that's okay because you can always add more flour and more water at any given time. So I'm going to stop this and I'm going to add just a little bit of water, about a teaspoon of water and a little bit more flour. So this is a cup of water, but I'm just going to add like a teaspoon of it. And then I'm going to add more flour. If need be, you can always have a spoon on hand, a soft spatula to knock down the sides at any given time. Because there will be stuff on the side that you will have to knock down at while it's blending. So now it's still blending. It's getting about that sticky phase, so I will be taking it out in just a second. So now it's done. So now, cancel that. So now I'm going to start by flouring my surface. So you will need just about a little bit. Use as little of flour as possible, but make sure that all of your surface is floured and all of your dough is floured when you take it out of the blender. And if you're liking this video so far, make sure you go down below and smash that like button. And make sure and let me know what you would like to see me make in the comments down below, because I promise you I will get to it. Just let me know. So now it's time to take it out of the blender. So like I said before, we're going to let this blend on low for about a couple more minutes because it's just not the right texture yet. But we have already floured our surface, so if you haven't did that yet, go ahead and flour your surface. So while the blender is still blending on low, we're about to start mixing our filling ingredients. So first you're going to need a pan. So typically you're going to use one of these pans. So a pan you will put on top of the oven on an eye. 5 medium apples. So let me stop this. So first you're going to need 5 medium apples. Make sure they're a cut. And then we're just going to put all 5 of these apples inside. So after you get your apples, you're going to need 3/4 cup of sugar to add to the apples. So I'm going to set this down. I'm going to need 3/4 cup of sugar to the apples to give it that sweet taste. As I say in all of my videos, we're always looking for the sweet taste when it comes to baking. So we're going to add the 3/4 cup of sugar to the apples. After we add our sugar, we're going to add 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. So now you're going to add your 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Then after you add your cinnamon, you're going to need 6 tablespoons of flour. Then after you add your flour, you're going to need your 2 tablespoons of butter. So dump this butter in there. And after you put your butter in there, you're going to put your mix on the eye on low for about 15 minutes while we finish cooking the rest of the ingredients, and stir it periodically. So make sure you come back to it every now and then. Use a spoon and stir this periodically. So make sure all the cinnamon and everything gets on the apples, the butter gets on the apples, everything gets on the apples, because all of these will be going into the miniature cups after we are done. So now we're going to take a look at our dough, see what our dough is doing. So our dough is about done. So we're going to pull this dough out. It's pretty sticky, so you're going to need a soft spatula, a large one particularly. So use that to get that dough out of the mixer. It's going to be really sticky. So you have to take your time. Don't pull on it too aggressively. Just take it out as little bit as possible, as much as you can. After taking as much dough as you can out of the blender, now we're going to roll it out onto the countertop with lightly surface. We're going to add a little bit of dough to our hands because it's going to be really sticky. And now we're going to touch this up a little bit. So roll it into a ball. And then we're going to knead it in a second. But make sure you get all the sides doughed up. You're going to just knead it. You're just going to push the back of your hand against it along the surface of the countertop. Just going to keep kneading it. Once you get your dough to about the way you want it, you can keep playing with it a little bit more. But once you get it about the way you want it, you're going to just start pulling it out. I'm just going to start rolling and pulling. Just rolling and pulling. Keeping it together, rolling and pulling. Because we're going to need to make at least 12 mini balls. They don't have to be too big. Because again, this is dough. It's going to expand and spread out once it gets in the oven. So just do the best you can. Then I'm going to get a knife. Try to cut this into 12 equal pieces. As many pieces as I can. I can always break it smaller. Second. Don't make sure they're not too small. You always add more flour to them. Gonna need to roll them out. They should be about yay big, about this big. You're gonna need to do steps 2 and 3 one more time. Well, 2 more times, because you're gonna need 12 of these. 12 small balls, and then you're going to need a topping. If you want toppings, it's optional. So if you don't want toppings, you do steps 2 and 3 one more time. But if you do, you're going to need to do it 2 more times. I'm going to do steps 2 and 3 again. So if you want to see me do it again, you can rewind back to the beginning. You can see the filling for the mini apple pies, the flour, the apples, the sugar, the cinnamon, and the butter. That's looking pretty good after being on the eye for about 10 minutes on low. So we will be filling, this will be our filling for our apple mini pies. After repeating steps 2 and 3 a couple more times, we got now 12 mini balls, and then we got 1 big ball for our crust. So now we're going to put all these balls on the side. We're going to roll them out. We're going to get our pie dish now. We're going to roll it out with our rolling pin. So, we're going to get each ball, roll it with our hands first, roll it out. Use our pie thing, roll it all the way out. You can put a little bit of flour on the rolling pin so it don't stick as much. And then, you're just going to put it on there like that. So we're going to do that to all 12. Take your time, please do not rush. This is one of the sensitive parts of making the pies. You need to take your time and make sure you get each individual one the same amount of attention. And just as a side note, some of the mini pies will have extra dough on it. So you can take that off and you can always use that as the top layer, as the design on the top. You don't have to have a design, but I love designing my pie. So on the top, it's always fun. Now once you get all your miniature pies together, we're gonna make a crust. So you can add all the dough you want to it, all of your extra dough you're gonna need. We're gonna make a crust to this. And if you haven't already, go ahead and take your filling off the eye, because we'll be filling that up in the pie in just a second. So I'm just going to let that sit for a second. Now we're going to go to our other butter. You're going to take 1 stick of 2/3 full of butter and cut it into 12 pieces. And place 1 of each piece into the bottom of going to give the filling some taste also. Roll this out. kind of like a pizza, back and forth. Evenly, about 1/4 inch thick. Let's pull it out a little bit more. That's pretty thin. That's about as thin as should be, about 1/4 inch thick, about the inch of your fingernail. So now we're gonna get a knife, and then we're gonna start slicing this. These pieces are gonna be going on our pies after we put the filling on. You can also do crisscross like this, so it's gonna be about that long. Don't need to be too long. A couple of them gonna be thicker, so you might want to recut in between some of them. Some of them gonna be thicker than others. So once you got your topping done, now we're gonna do the filling. Now that we're done with the bottom and the crust, now we are going to be filling our pies. So you can take a spoon, just fill all the pies, about the same amount of each pie. A little bit, fill them up. Looking good so far. Some of the apples might be bigger than others. You can cut them down, or you could, you could cut them down and make them smaller. And some other ones in the pan. It's always okay. You know who are watching this video, baking and cooking is something I do on a regular. Down below, there's my website, ZAIRE'S KC. And book me for your next birthday party or any other catering events, whether that's a birthday, corporate event, anything of that matter. I would love to host your next event. I bake, I cook. You go to my website will be in the description down below. Also, you go to my website and see the other things I have done and let me know what you want me to do. I'll give you a price range. But I love helping people. And if you subscribe right now, there will be a discount. So go down below and subscribe. I will have a discount for you. Like and subscribe. Because I love helping my YouTube community. And I love to see and come to you and be your next event partner. Now that we have got all of Now that we have filled all of our pies, we're going to top them. So put this down. Now we're just going to take some layers and just top our pies slowly. Some might have more than others. That's okay. You might not use all of this, but use as much as you can or want to use. You don't have to use as much if you don't want to. So I'm just going to do a little crisscross like that. Let's spread them out a little bit. This is good, guys. We're doing good so far. So just keep going and keep topping all of your pie. Now that we have finished putting the crust on the pies, now we're going to put the pies in the oven for 16 to 18 minutes. So put it on 16 minutes. You can always add more time. Just put it on 16 minutes for a start. You can always add more time. Put it on the top. Set your timer for 16 minutes. Then press start and let that sit for about 16 minutes. About a minute left. We're going to take it out the oven and because we just added another couple minutes because we added our cinnamon and sugar on top. So that's optional. If you want a sweet taste on top, because I'm all about the sweet taste when it comes to bacon, you can always add about a couple more minutes, put it back in the oven, let it sweeten. Make sure it's light brown and the apples are bubbly. Okay. So now we're going to clear this off. Timer is about to go off. Clear that off. Take this out the oven. And let that sit for about 10 minutes. Alright, I just want to thank everybody for participating today in today's mini pie bacon. I love you all. Make sure you like and subscribe if you're new to the channel down below. Let me know what you want to make. Also, I hope you guys love the pies that we made today. Make sure you subscribe so you can stay notified and turn on that ring bell right down below. I hope to see you in the next one and see you guys later. Bye. And oh, one more thing. Help me thank background of ZAIRE'S. He has done everything for me. His help me with editing, helped me set up everything. Let's all thank him for his help here on set. Now, last but not least, make sure you hit that like button. Hit that like button. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thank you, ZAIRE.